Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. Welcome to today's Powerboost. And as always, we select a topic that we think can best, with our interpretation, be empowering. And so today's topic is we are social beings. We are social beings. We belong together. We belong together. And so our focus today is in the understanding that we have and promote that individualism rather than community is the best way to measure and to understand who we are, and with the kind of dynamics that entails and the competition and so on, that brings out the best in us and all of the indices that we use to measure our success. Today, however, what we are focusing on is quite the opposite, which is that because we are social beings, together we are this whole that becomes so when all of the, you might say, all the jigsaw puzzle pieces that we are come together and work together. And so in our meditation today, when you can, as you pass by and interact with all of the people that you come into contact with today and every day, if you can begin to interact with them as your fellow brethren, if you will, if when you, at a glance, which is mostly what happens, we're passing by, most of the time you don't interact with people for any length of time, except for those few that you may work with or live with. But what we want that you're able to tap into is that vast majority of your brethren out there who are your natural allies, whether they know it or not. Think of it this way. The reason that bees make these intricate hives and are so productive is that they function as one. They come together, and they know that they belong together. They know that together they are this powerful unit, and that their well-being becomes their real focus because of that togetherness. No one needs to tell them that. Unfortunately for us, we've been schooled out of it, if you will. And so, if as you go about your business today and every day, with everyone that you encounter, whether in passing or you have to spend any time with them, practice beginning to appreciate that you are among family members, whether they are male or female, or black or white, or Asian, or foreigner, immigrant. And in that perspective, what you convey is that recognition, that realization of your connectedness. And in so doing, you don't just connect to those within your immediate circle, but actually beyond. And what I mean by that is beyond all boundaries. Imagine if, as you adopt this way of being as you're in the company with others, you begin to experience that sense of oneness, that sense of family, that sense of unity. How empowering that is. So hold that space for as much as you can, for as often as you can. And it will bring about this natural community. We think of this virtual community that we create electronically. But what we're talking about now is spiritually, where you are able to, because of the identity as this collective unit that allows us to function in such a powerful way, in such a meaningful way, in such a loveful way, that you then begin to have that natural cooperation and that natural togetherness that comes from being one. And yes, we do belong to each other. And it is that belonging, that recognition, that message that you can communicate even at a glance. And so let's make that our meditation today. Where everyone you encounter, everyone that you interact with becomes part of that larger family of souls all across the globe, all 8 billion plus. That kind of power should have you become as light as a feather, where you can fly where you can have that connectedness, that sense of well-being, that sense of power, where all of the anxiety that we carry around from being or feeling alone and lonely in the midst of the hundreds of thousands and millions and the billion family of souls that we're all a part of. And so let us hold that perspective. Let us remember who we are. Let us remember that we are members of the same family with the same Father, and that this eternal relationship is what we must nurture. This eternal relationship is what must be in our awareness. Having that awareness will inform a different action. And you will have the empathy. You will have the willingness. You will have the understanding and indeed the wisdom that will bring about the kind of world and the kind of changes that we're striving for individually. And so that is our meditation today. Make that your focus. Bring that into your awareness. And with every recognition of that relationship, with that every connection that you're able to make today and every day, you'll find that this journey becomes so much more rewarding. Remember that no matter what your difficulties are, the best way to find relief from any difficulties you may be facing is to take the attention off of yourself. And when you begin to think of others, you begin to realize very, very quickly that your burden, whatever that burden is not the heaviest. And it becomes very light when you can share it with other like souls, other like brothers who are on this journey with you. And so lighten your load. Lighten your relationships so that they are not burdened by differences, and find that oneness, which is really natural. And just like the bees who have enough for themselves and more than enough to share with us, we will find that we can do so much more. when we were able to get to our highest level of function with each other's support. And so let's make today that turning point where with everyone you encounter a friend, you encounter a family, you encounter someone who shares with you this space, this journey, this destination. And peace will become real. Security will become real. Love and understanding will become real. And let's make that happen now. Om Shanti.